Good morning. Welcome to Sunday session of Gentle Restorative Yoga. We're going to start today in easy seated position, so finding any position that works best for you today. I'm just tucking my feet in, trying to bring my heels somewhat close together. Option as well to prop ourselves up on a block, a brick, or some sort of a pillow or cushion, in order to enable our diaphragm to breathe in a little bit more deeply, and just allowing our hands to fall wherever they may. Starting today's practice with a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Noticing the muscles in our faces soften. And slowly starting to bring awareness to our breath. Noticing the rising and falling of our chest, and the expansion of our rib cage. And perhaps even bringing our hands to our bellies if we're in need of finding that rising and falling sensation. Allowing our bodies to assume the natural rhythm of breath. And we'll go through a body scan from head to toe, just getting a sense of the mood of the body today, energy that we may have running through, noting every area of the body as we run through the neck, into the shoulders, down the arms and into the fingers, through the chest and upper back, into the belly, down the lower back and into the hips, the glutes, the pelvis. Noting the legs, any areas of tension or lightness that we may have, areas of comfort or discomfort. Not getting stuck on any part of the body, but continuing through all the way to the ankles, the feet and the toes. Bringing our attention back to the breath. And taking a moment possibly to reflect on or to set an intention for today's practice. Being conscious of letting go of any expectations, competition, or judgment for our practice. Possibly inhaling a new sense of curiosity to see how our bodies respond today, the state of our bodies, and being sure to honor the state of our body today. Bringing our awareness back to the sounds and the sense of the space around us. And we're going to bring our hands to the shins or the ankles and start our asana with some dynamic butterfly motions. I'm going to remove the cushion from underneath me. And slowly on the inhales, we'll draw the shoulder blades back together, reaching the chest forward. And on the exhales, we'll round out the shoulders, leading with the elbows, pressing forward, lowering our chins to chest. Inhale, we lift the chest, drawing the shoulder blades together. And exhale, we round out, finding a flow and a rhythm that suits our breath. Gentle and steady. Possibly lowering a little bit deeper with each breath as we warm up the spine and our inner core temperature. Let's do 2 more. Activating our Ujjayi breath. Runs behind, deep in our nasal cavity. And coming back to center, resetting. Rolling our shoulders and bringing our hands back down to our knees. Deep breath in between. And we'll bring our hands to the outside of our knees. We'll slowly circle around. Again, drawing a little bit more awareness to our lower backs now. Lowering the shoulders as deeply as you would like. Listening to our bodies, lower backs, knees. Trying to keep our sit bones on the mat as we round out. Again, following the rhythm of our breath. As we rise up, we inhale. And as we lower, we exhale. Using our knees as leverage to push and press into the pose. Stretching the lower back, warming it up, and preventing any injuries. Finishing this circle, we'll go ahead and switch directions. Finding a gentle flow. Two more circles. And we'll come back to center. Resetting here with a deep breath. Bringing our hands back to our knees. Once again, we'll do our butterfly, shoulder butterflies with shoulders drawn into our spine. You are welcome to switch the position of your feet at this point. And when you're ready, coming forward, lifting the chest on the inhale and rounding out on the exhale, allowing the chin to lower to the chest. Noticing any difference now with our feet placed differently. How the shoulder blades draw into the spine. Drawing a little bit more awareness to our mid-back. And enjoying the neural flossing of our neck as we lift it and lower it. Two more. And coming back to center, rolling our shoulders back, lifting our arms all the way up. And on the exhale, we bring ourselves into a gentle rotation, looking back over our shoulder. Keeping our spine tall and erect. Deep breaths in, filling the lungs. And expanding the ribcage laterally every breath. Two more breaths. On the next inhale, we lift our arms all the way back, coming back to center. On the exhale, we lower our arms the opposite direction, looking over the opposite shoulder, keeping our bodies nice and tall. Breathing deeply, expanding the rib cage. Three more breaths. On the next inhale, we'll lift arms all the way up, coming back to center, reaching tall and hinging at the hips, folding forward, extending the arms as long as we can. Trying to keep our sit bones on the mat and lowering our heads, chins to chest, swaying a little bit as an option, allowing the head to hang heavy and loose, not holding any tension in the neck. And we'll walk the hands all the way over to the right side of the mat. Inhaling, elongating the spine. On the exhale, we'll sink down over top of the knee. Starting to open up the side body. On the inhale, we lift our torsos up. Once again, elongate, possibly walking the hands farther to the right, and then allowing our bodies to sink over top of the knee again. Noticing what's happening in our faces, our jaw, our neck, as well as our lower backs, our breath. One more breath here. And we'll inhale, lifting our torsos, walking the hands all the way back through center and over to the right side, elongating the spine, and then on the exhale, we'll sink down over top. Breathing in through the side body, through the lower back. Not creating any tension here today. Honoring the state of our bodies. And slowly stretching and easing our way into the poses. Lifting the torsos, elongating and possibly walking a little bit further over to the left. Hinging over. Right. Lifting our torsos up, walking our hands back to center. Stretching a little bit farther, hinging deeper into the hips as possible. And we'll hang out here for a few breaths. On the next inhale, we'll walk our hands back in, stacking one vertebrae at a time, nice and gently. Good. Now we'll go ahead and lift one arm up and bring it back to the shins. Lifting the other arm up and back down, alternating on the inhale. We lift our arms, exhale, we lower. We'll do 3 more on each side. Opening up our chest, expanding our breath. And bringing awareness to our shoulder blades. Good. On the inhale, we'll lift both hands up, pressing them forward, interlacing. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, rounding out. Lowering our heads, chins to chest. Once again, finding a flow that matches the rhythm of our breath. Noticing the lifting and rotation of the pelvis. We'll do 5 more. Warming our internal core temperature and ensuring that our spines are bulletproof as we move through our asana. One more breath. Elongate, reach, and lower, allowing the arms to come all the way down. We reset on the inhale, bringing our spines back to erect. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Coming into a Dandasana staff pose, extending the legs long on our mats. Giving them a little bit of a shake to start. That feels good. Great. And ensuring that our sit bones are firmly placed on the mat. We'll inhale, lifting our arms up. On the exhale, we lower the arms to one side, reaching behind us. On the inhale, we lift up. On the exhale, we reach to the opposite side, reaching alongside the body, looking back towards our hands. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, back to the first side. We'll alternate with each breath, lifting and lowering. Feeling an opening up the back of the legs, gentle rotation of the spine, helping our digestion, blood circulation. Keeping our feet flexed. Reaching tall, creating space between each vertebrae. We'll do 3 more on each side. Last one. Deep breath in, hinging forward, reaching back. And we'll inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, forward fold, allowing the hands to fall where they will naturally. Again, no judgment. There is no expectation of where your body should be at this point. Keeping our feet flexed. Hinging at the hips, possibly a micro bend in the knees. See what works best for your body today. One more breath here. And then on the inhale, we'll press ourselves up, stacking our vertebrae once again, rolling our shoulders, and we'll turn our bodies into a wide angle stretch of our legs, keeping each leg extended out to the edges of the mat, keeping our feet flexed, possibly even assisting a press forward with both of our hands. We're keeping our feet flexed, reaching up to the sky. We're going to start off with some side bends, so lifting one arm over the head and alternating sides. Inhale and exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Again, just finding a flow that works for the lower back and the breath. Possibly sinking a little bit deeper each time. Maybe even rounding out the arms, listening to the lower back. A good way to activate our ocean breath. Bringing awareness to the parasympathetic nervous system for inner balance and calm. Good. One more on each side, and then we'll hold wherever we end up. Lifting the arm above the head, lowering over to one side, allowing the bottom hand to fall where it will, supporting as needed, maybe even reaching for the toe or the foot. Again, we're not forcing the pose. Keeping our feet flexed. Reaching long with the arm. And then on each exhale, we'll slowly lower forward. Coming into a rotation of the upper body, reaching towards that one leg, hinging at the hips. Adding a little depth and intensity to the stretch, but gently supporting ourselves with our hands, our forearms, or even our blocks. Breathing through any moments that may be challenging for the body. But again, paying attention to the breath. If it's labored, we may be pushing too hard. We'll just ease off a bit. On the next inhale, we'll press ourselves back up to center. Reposition, and we'll sink over to the opposite side. Again, keeping the feet flexed, reaching the arm over top of the head. No particular position required, whatever suits the body today. And on each exhale, we roll ourselves forward until we're in a rotated position of the torso. Bringing our arms to each side of the leg, rotating and hinging. Checking in with the breath, and what's happening in the face and the jaw. Great. Inhale, pressing ourselves up, coming back to center, and we'll release the legs. Let's bring both of them in, bringing our bottoms of our feet together at any distance from the body that may be comfortable, ensuring our sit bones are firmly pressed into the mat for grounding, pressing our bottoms of our feet together, hanging on possibly to the shins or wrapping our hands around our feet. But let's start nice and tall, elongating the spine, drawing the shoulder blades together, allowing the knees to fall where they will. Bouncing or pulsing is optional, of course. And hinging forward, let's round out, allowing our arms to fall where they will, pressing the knees back down to the mat this time. Feeling an activation in the glutes and the hamstrings, IT band, as we hinge forward, pressing the knees down. Go ahead and release that, extending our left leg behind us. We're in a double 4 deer pose. And we'll go ahead and lean backwards this time. We're going to activate the quadricep muscle. So just reaching our hands back behind us. This may be intense enough for many of us. Of course, you can slowly walk the hands backwards, come onto the forearms as possible. But again, there's no expectation. Release that expectation in our minds that there is a specific pose for us. The specific pose is what our body tells us works for us. I'm already feeling an activation in my glute. I'm going to lean back just slightly on a cushion, see how I do here, and possibly ease my way down a little bit more as my breath allows, listening, letting my breath guide me, not creating any stress in my body. Breathing through, allowing the tension to release. I will be here for 3 more breaths. And slowly press ourselves up with our arms and our hands. And we'll shift to the opposite side, bringing our left leg in front and our right leg behind, ensuring that our knees are on the mat for extra comfort. And again, listening to our bodies, lowering slightly, noting any differences in this side to the other. Perhaps we have different levels of blockage or tension we want to be aware of, and work our way through gently. Breathing through it, possibly even visualizing water running down the leg, releasing tension like a waterfall. Lowering only as our body allows and as the ligaments and muscles release the tension. Three more breaths. Maintaining our presence in the moment, through these moments that may cause a little extra challenge. Good. And on the next inhale, we press ourselves up gently, back to center. Bring our legs once again into Dandasana, our staff pose, giving them a little shake. Good. And this time with our feet once again flexed, toes are pointed to the ceiling. We'll go ahead and pulse, hinging at the hips, reaching forward, allowing our heads to lower, chins to chest. Gently pulsing, feeling the opening in the back of the legs. Just listening and allowing the microfibers, connective tissues to bounce us back up. Working a little bit into the fascia, building the collagen and clearing the cobwebs. Coming to a resting pose, bringing ourselves back up to an erect spine, rolling out the shoulders and slowly transitioning into rock pose, coming onto our knees, grabbing a sip of water in between as needed. Once in rock pose, we're going to interlace our arms into eagle arms. Let's bring one over the other, trying to bring the pinkies together. And on the inhale, we'll press the arms up. On the exhale, we'll lower them. Slowly lifting and lowering, feeling a stretch, the upper arm, the shoulder. Option to engage the lower back, lifting the chest at the same time. Adding in a flexion and a contraction as desired. And listening to the body. Last one here. Back to our neutral position, and we'll side of our underarm. Bringing our breath into our ribs, expanding our rib cage laterally. Back to center, releasing those arms, bringing them back behind us into a fisted camel pose, bringing our hands into fists, rolling the shoulders back, lifting our chest, working to press the arms behind. Deep breaths here in between. Feeling the stretch down the fronts of our arms and shoulders. Two more breaths. Good. Go ahead and release. We'll come up onto our toes and then into our eagle arms with the opposite arm under the opposite. Trying to connect our pinkies together. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhaling, lowering. Option, of course, to engage the lower back, lifting as a cat-cow flow. Listening to our bodies. Bringing our attention to the sensations we may have through the body, as well as our breath. No doubt you're noticing the balls of the feet light up. They're probably talking to you. Stay with it. One more breath. Now we'll go ahead and rotate to the side of the lower arm. 3 more breaths. And we'll come back to center, releasing the arms, coming into all fours. Tap out the toes. Yay for that. Good. And we are positioning ourselves now into all fours. Bringing our hands under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. And let's start by shifting our weight forward and back, coming over our hands slightly, coming back as low as you like. Bringing awareness to our wrists and our knees. Creating new patterns of movement, new neural pathways. And we'll slowly start to circle around here, shifting our weight, hand to hand, to knee, possibly adding in a lateral flexion, shifting our hips as we circle, lowering and lifting, finding a flow, not worrying about what we may look like, just feeling what works for the body, what feels good today. Noticing the sensations, areas of tightness or tension, and breathing through them. One more in this direction, and then we'll switch, going the opposite direction, creating new patterns of movement. We'll do 2 more circles. And coming back to our neutral position in all fours. And let's do a reverse look at our feet, alternating sides, left to right. Again, following our breath. Opening up our side body, stretching into it gently. Using our hands as leverage, pressing into the mat. One more on each side. And then back to center, curling the toes underneath our shins. We'll come up into down dog on the exhale. And pedal out the feet, shifting the weight left to right. Keeping the head hanging heavy, elongating the spine and neck. Coming into a neutral position, pressing both feet back, down towards the mat. Pressing through the hands and the shoulders, pressing back, lifting the tailbone. Good. On the next next inhale, we'll go ahead and lift our right foot off the mat, bending at the knee, and we'll shift, rotating the pelvis, facing the wall, pressing all of our weight into our left foot. Strong upper body, channeling our energy on a diagonal dimension, stacking the knee above the hip. And rotating our hips back to center. We're stepping all the way through into a low lunge, possibly grabbing onto a cushion or a towel, something close by. And we're in our low lunge, lowering our left knee, bringing our right hands to our right thigh, flattening out the back foot, and we'll just slowly press forward and back, slowly lowering into the hip flexor, bringing awareness to opening up the hip flexor gently, remembering that our psoas connects all the way from the spine into our hip. We want to be gentle with it. And we'll go ahead and hold the lunge position here, supporting ourselves on our thigh, sinking deeply, gently and steadily. Lifting our chests to the sky and possibly even our left arm over our shoulder. Option here to bend over to the right, listening to our bodies. Good. Lowering our left arm over the right knee, slight rotation. Good. On the next exhale, we'll lower the hand down to the mat, bringing our other hand down to join, and we'll press back, extending our right leg. Toes are flexed to the ceiling. Hamstring stretch. Holding here or sinking back, whichever you prefer. Possibly even a combination as the leg ligaments and muscles start to release. Hinging at the hips, trying to keep our spine elongated. And supporting ourselves as needed, possibly finding blocks. Again, not forcing ourselves into any particular position or depth. On the next inhale, we'll press forward, coming all the way down into lizard. So bringing both hands over inside the right leg. And we'll go ahead and shift left to right, positioning our right foot possibly to the edge of the mat to gain a little extra stability and grounding in our foot. Shifting left to right, working ourselves into our hips. From here, we'll press ourselves back up, keeping our left hand pressed into the mat and reaching back with our left arm, grabbing onto the foot, drawing the heel in towards the glutes, slowly and gently. Tall upper bodies, pressing away with our left hand, and possibly even looking back over our right foot. Taking our time to draw the foot into our glutes, coming off the knee so that you're not putting pressure on the kneecap, but also on top of the thigh. Two more breaths. And we'll go ahead and release the left foot. And slowly coming back to center, we'll walk the right foot all the way over and across the body into our pigeon pose. Lowering the right knee towards the right wrist, possibly removing any block or cushion that was supporting our left knee. Finding our hips forward facing. Maybe this is the position we hold today, listening to our bodies, listening to the back of the right leg. Walking our torso out with the left toes until we find a nice resting place. Tall upper bodies. And if you would like to lower, this is an option, coming down to our hands, possibly our forearms, finding a block to support us as needed. We're here for a good minute, so take your time to ease into the stretch, noticing any new sensations with each level that we may hold with our upper bodies, possibly stacking our fists, flattening our hands, lowering, shifting, easing ourselves into it. Again, being guided by our breath. We're not forcing anything today. Honoring our bodies. And celebrating the breath as a guide and the strength and determination that we have within us, as well as our calm strength. Possibly taking a moment to turn our mind to our mind's eye, and our attention to our mind's eye, possibly reflecting on our happy space, giving a moment to think about the temperature, the colors, the sounds, and the smells of our happy space. Maybe it's our feet digging into hot sand on a beach. Perhaps it's wind flowing through our hair, or the smell of fresh air when we're out hiking in the mountains, or the sound of a creek flowing past us as we walk by. Finding relief in this pose as we ease into it. On the next inhale, we'll press ourselves all the way up, coming back into all fours, gently transitioning, and we'll step back into down dog, pedaling out what we've just done on this side of our body before switching to the other side. Pressing both heels towards the mat, Finding our grounding in our hands, pressing the shoulders and chest down towards the mat. And on the next inhale, we'll lift our left foot off the ground, bending at the knee, rotating the pelvis, stacking the knee on top of the hips, pressing firmly into the right foot, feeling the diagonal pattern from our left hand all the way through to the right foot. Breathing into our side body, finding our strength through the right hand. Noticing our calm sense of strength in this pose for 2 more breaths. And slowly rotating the hip back down towards the mat, tucking our knee into our chest and stepping into a lunge with our left leg. Lowering our right knee down to the mat, possibly on top of a cushion or something else. It's padded. Finding our stability in our lunge position, bringing our hands up to our left knee. Slowly pulsing forward and back, drawing awareness to the right hip flexor. Slowly starting to bring awareness to it and opening up. And on the next inhale, we'll hold, slowly sinking a little bit deeper. Gently, as our body allows, following the breath. Option to extend the arm over top of our shoulder. Maybe even noticing a little bit of a stretch in the upper body through the abdomen, being gentle. Option to bend over the left side. Slowly lowering that right arm over the left knee, gentle rotation, adding a little intensity to the right hip flexor, optional of course. Supporting as needed, maybe even a block at our side. It's starting to feel a little bit of heat generating in my right hip flexor. Go ahead and we'll lower our hands down to the mat. Coming into our lizard pose, walking the left foot out, lowering our arms as possible or simply remaining high and shifting our weight left to right. Again, bringing awareness to both hips, our knee. If lowering is an option, you are welcome to do so, but again, letting our breath guide us and listening to the sensations in our bodies. On the next inhale, we'll press ourselves all the way up and we'll extend back into our hamstring stretch, pressing the left foot forward, lifting the toes, flexing the foot, hinging at the hips, finding our blocks for stability as needed. Possibly even sinking back into our glutes and our heel. Find the pose that works best for your body today. Again, you may even want to visualize a waterfall as if it's running through the back of the leg, releasing tension and blocked energy. On the next inhale, we'll press back forward. And this time we're planting our right hand on the inside of our left foot, and we'll reach back for the right foot, drawing the heel into the glutes, lifting our upper bodies, walking our hand and foot out for stability as needed. Tall upper bodies, gentle rotation, and drawing the heel into our glute. Gently, with each exhale, forward, rolling forward onto the right thigh, coming off of the kneecap. Pressing into the right hand to ensure that our upper bodies are nice and tall. Possibly even expanding the chest with our breath. Make the pose work for your body today. Fit the pose to your body. Two more breaths. Good. And we'll go ahead and release the back foot, removing the cushion from underneath our knee, and we'll slowly come into our pigeon pose, walking the left foot underneath the chest and lowering the knee down to our left elbow. And once again, setting ourselves up nice and tall, walking the torso out with our back toe, finding alignment of the hips forward facing, holding here, drawing awareness to our breath. And as our breath assumes its natural rhythm, we can go ahead and lower ourselves, hinging at the hips gently and slowly, paying attention to the sensations and a change in our breath, possibly coming down to our forearms, onto our block, stacking our fists or our hands, finding calm in this moment, drawing awareness to our third eye, just appreciating the moment, our body releasing tension, trusting that our bodies will tell us what we need, trusting that we are safe, and we'll hold this for 3 more breaths. Good. On the next inhale, we'll press ourselves all the way up, rolling out of that nice and gently. And let's go ahead and come all the way back through into our staff pose, releasing the legs, giving them a little bit of a shake, rinsing out what we've just done. Good. And then slowly lowering ourselves all the way down to the mat into our supine pose, grabbing a sip of water in between as needed. Slowly lowering down one vertebrae at a time, shoulders and head. Coming into a resting position here. Allowing the muscles of our faces to soften and melt towards the floor. We'll do a final few movements with our legs, hugging them in, drawing our heels into our glutes, 90 degrees, hip width apart, pressing our palms into the mat. Let's go ahead and lift the hips up to the sky, holding here, feeling the dynamic tension of our thighs being drawn in towards each other, keeping our knees stacked over top of the ankles, feeling the shoulder blades pressing into the mat, and allowing the neck to open up with the chin possibly lowering towards the chest. Noticing our breath. And on the next exhale, we'll lower back down, drawing the knees in towards our chest, giving them a little hug, wrapping our arms either around the shins or underneath the thighs, whatever works best for you. Drawing the knees together, possibly even shifting the weight left to right, rocking side to side or forward and back. One more time to feel the hip flexors. Noticing what's happening in the hips, possibly even the lower back as we roll side to side, a little bit of a massage. Good. Let's go ahead and stack our feet on top, stretching our legs, stacking them above the hips, flexing the feet, and pointing and flexing, rolling the ankles, drawing awareness to the feet, the ankles. And just starting to activate the lymphatic system and a little bit more circulation back towards the heart. Great. Let's go ahead and cross our right leg over our left knee. We're going to cross them as eagle legs and slowly rotate over to the right side of the body, letting the left foot come down to the mat. Bringing our arms all the way up to the side, allowing the legs to lower towards the right and gazing over the left shoulder, keeping our shoulder blades firmly planted on the floor. If this twist doesn't work for you, pick a different one. I find the weight of the upper leg adds a great deal of stretch to the lower back. Pulsing helps break into the fascia and the connective tissue, but of course be gentle, listening to your back. This may not work for everybody. Find a spinal twist that works for you today. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Notice what's happening in our bellies. And rotating back to center. Releasing the top leg and replacing it with the opposite side. Lowering over to the left side of the body and gazing over to the right. Keeping the shoulder blades firmly planted on the mat. Breathing in to the stretch, drawing our awareness to whichever point in the body may be feeling the stretch the most, breathing air into it. And bringing our attention to the release of any tension or blocked energy. 2 more breaths. And on the exhale, we'll rotate back to center, releasing the legs, drawing them back in one more time for a hug. Curling up into a caterpillar, lifting our shoulders and head, tucking all to draw the shoulders, draw the knees towards our chest. Releasing all the way back down to the mat, shoulders, arms, and feet. Extending the legs long, allowing the feet to fall where they will, the hands to open, palms facing the sky. Drawing in new energy with our inhale and releasing any residual stress through our exhale. With smiles on our faces, we give thanks for the opportunity to practice. And perhaps giving thanks for something somebody may have done or said that put smiles on our faces or warmed our hearts. Bringing gratitude to our mind. And taking that sense of gratitude and happiness with us back to our homes and our lives, sharing it with others in our circles. And bringing our awareness to the sense of calm and inner strength. Remembering that we can always come back to this moment of calm strength, this moment of zen and happiness as we move through the coming days. Thank you all for joining today. I wish you a lovely continuation. Namaste.